This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Alongside Jamie Lent, I'm Chois Woodman in for Chuck this morning. Jeff McGuire handling us ably. Y'all can keep the thoughts and comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You like the Mavs black uniforms that they wore last night?
I was a little disappointed they were wearing black, to be honest with you. I didn't hate the look. I like the Mavs color scheme and all that good stuff, so okay. I don't know why they decided to go black.
I'm going to leave that one alone. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. So will these athletes become employees? They will if the schools pay them directly, which is my understanding.
Seems like we're heading towards that.
Next, not this coming athletic year, but in 2025, I think they've approved for them to pay them directly. So, yes, they will become employees eventually.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm dumb. I don't even pretend to say that I'm not. Doesn't matter. What's the difference?
Contracts?
The contracts can be done now through the NIL.
No.
I mean, they could. That's where I think this is going next.
Stay at a school where you can put a no-compete clause in a contract. Like a guy
like
in the
NFL,
NCAA
is going to allow that to happen.
The NCAA doesn't allow anything at this point. They have zero spine when it comes to football.
That's right, and that's why they're not going to allow you to put in non-competes or force kids to stay at a school for more than 1 year.
I don't think the NCAA is going to be in power here. I think this is going to be the SEC and the Big Ten that get to... There's eventually going to be a commissioner over this kind of stuff.
Eventually, hopefully, yeah.
I think so. When you split to this Super League,
I just don't think there are going to be rules in place that protect the university and are against freedom for the student athlete. That is everything we've gone towards. Everything benefiting the student athlete.
These things cycle around, I do think. I mean, it was opposite forever in pro sports. It was the opposite. There was zero protection for the player. There was no such thing as free agency.
I just don't see that happening. You're right, 60s. They do cycle around, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
I think you will get contracts because right now it is complete mayhem.
Yeah.
I think that there has to be structure in place, or it just won't.
So that negates all the rulings that are going on right now about student athletes being able to use leave every year.
None of them are employees right now.
Right. So you're saying we've had all these court cases that have said athletes can leave, athletes can stay, can go they can leave whenever they want to. They don't have to sit out. They don't have to be punished and lose a year. All of that, you're saying all of that's going on right now is just going to go away.
Yeah, when we quit playing around and acting like these guys aren't employees. When they become
That's going to be a major turn from what we have seen.
Which is good for the sport.
100% agree. 1,000%. I don't see anybody out there having the guts to stick up to today's athletes.
I'm going to say 95% of the coaches.
Not conference commissioners, not ADs, not NCAA people. They're not. It's all about what the athlete wants. And it's fear of litigation against that.
How is there litigation if they become employees?
And fear of not getting the athlete so that you can compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
But if it's ruled across the sport, which is what it would have to be.
I 100% agree with you, Chois, that's what it has to be. That's what I'm just saying. We're going to, for what you are suggesting, it is going to be like a major turnabout, right?
It would.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Major.
And I think it's heading that way. I think there's such a facade put on right now that these people are not athletes, that this NIL money is name, image, likeness stuff, that they're hiding behind a veil right now. Once they become employees of the university, you can put structure around it. You can put structure around it.
I think you're making complete sense. I just would be really surprised to see everything that we're going towards now just thrown away.
That's what I'm
because
not saying
nobody has the guts to stand up to student athletes. Nobody has said, no, we're going too far. Nobody will do it.
That's where I think
and again,
make
the people that
legal.
I mentioned, the ADs, the commissioners, the people that are running things, they're too afraid of the litigation.
And that's where I think contracts make things legal, where litigation would be thrown out the door if you have things under contract. So
I thought some of the litigation we've seen now would have been thrown out the door. And it's not. It hasn't been.
So this one from the chat line, Choice, your team will be a doormat in the next Super League. My team? Why are you singling me out? We all kind of root for the same guys around here.
I guess that means my team, too.
I think they're pointing at you, too.
I don't think they were talking about the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't think so. Doormat in the next Super League? Not if there's 60 teams.
No,
then it becomes the same thing you have right now.
I mean, if everybody's financially in the same boat, then I don't think Texas Tech would become a doormat.
If there's 40 teams, then you're going to have to scrap from the bottom up. You're going to have to work your way up. If there's 60 teams, you have 64 teams in Power 5 right now. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess is there more now? I guess we keep adding teams. So I'm trying to keep up. It was 64. Might be more. Jamie, please stop calling the student athletes. They are mercenaries. Quit acting like the student part means anything to them.
I don't want to...
I didn't even notice you said student athletes. But
yeah.
But I mean, technically...
I say it as a respectful term.
Sure.
What the texter is referring to is probably fair. At the same time, is definitely fair. At the same time, I don't want to act like there are nobody out there. None of these athletes don't care about their education, because I know for a fact that some of them do across all sports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't just look at the basketball team as those are mercenaries, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. These guys are on campus for 8 months. They have no connection to our school. They come here because we pay them lots of money. It's different across other sports, across campus.
Sure.
Don't lump them all in together.
Sure. And by the way, those other sports may go away, some of them, because of all of this.
Yep.
You may
Super
lose
fun.
Tennis. You may lose golf. You may lose your national championship track and field team. Don't think that'll be the first to go. But,
no, I don't think so.
But, I mean, that money's got to come from somewhere. Jamie, what does anyone have to stand up to? Why does anyone have to stand up to student athletes? Are they evil?
No, they're not evil, but at some point, just like your boss, you go to your boss and you say, I want this, and your boss says, okay, well, I'll give you some of this, but you don't get all of this. Right now, student athletes are saying, I want this, and everybody just backs away and say, yes, sir.
There's an endless power
yes,
trip.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Endless power trip to it. And again, without any formal structure at all. I mean, we literally went from nothing for the student athlete to everything for the student athlete. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some middle ground. Yeah. It's just how quick do you get to that middle ground? Mm-hmm. All right, plenty more on the chat line. A baseball question. I do want to get to that coming up on the other side of this day in sports history. And a word of the day on the way on Double T 97.3.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lynn, I'm Chois Woodman. Jeff McGuire across the way. And Jeff gets to take us back in time with this day in sports history.
Gonna start in 1936. Yankees beat the Indians 5-4 in 16 innings. This is the longest game in Major League Baseball history without a strikeout.
What?
16 innings and no strikeout?
No strikeouts.
Wow. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. Or depressive. Like, how are you, as pitchers, not striking out anybody?
Throw some ground balls, man. They're more democratic.
What was the score in that game?
5-4.
Because I was wondering, was it all offensive? No. Wow.
1973, Texas Rangers draft Texas high school pitcher David Clyde, number 1 overall.
That didn't work out.
No, it did not.
1977, Chicago White Sox draft Harold Baines, number 1 overall.
Worked out better than David Clyde.
Hall of Famer. You could argue whether he should be or not, but he is in fact a Hall of Famer. 1980, Tommy John wins his 200th game. This one a 3-0 two-hitter. 1983, Major League Baseball, Philadelphia Phillies Steve Carlton temporarily passes Houston Astro Nolan Ryan with 3,552 career strikeouts.
Was that the last time it was relinquished? Like anybody not named Nolan?
Once Nolan took it back.
Yeah, but I wonder if Steve Carlton passed him again at any point.
I don't think so. I think it was just once. Yeah. 1989, first baseball game to start outdoors and end indoors. Toronto Blue Jay Stadium closes their roof during the game at 8:48 and beat the Brewers 4-2.
And they've made a rule against that since, right? You cannot. I think Major League Baseball will not let you close a roof when it started open or vice versa.
Really?
I believe that's the case.
I think you can close it. I don't think you can open it.
You can't open it. I think maybe that's it. Maybe you can't open it.
Sudden weather change, you're allowed to close it.
Yeah, surely you.
Okay.
But you can't reopen it once it's been closed.
That's the beauty of having the retractable roof.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
2019, with 60 points, the Texas Tech wins the NCAA men's outdoor track and field team title in Austin by 10 points over Florida. Divine Oduduru wins the 100-meter and 200-meter. Red Raiders' first national title since 1993.
First ever men's title.
It is National Chocolate Ice Cream Day.
All in.
And National Donut Day.
Also all in.
Yes.
Any donut.
There's a lot of, if you're a donut fan, just look online, and there's a lot of opportunities for free donuts today with the.
Oh, that's good.
With National Donut Day.
Yeah, I would not say any donut. I'm not doing it.
You can celebrate with any donut. It's not a specific donut day.
You go with the chocolate on the chocolate with the coconut shavings on top.
I love that.
Oh,
Huge fan. Yeah. Or as Chuck would say, chocolate with coconuts on top.
The whole coconut.
The whole coconuts.
I forgot. There's another Chuckism that deep from the past.
Before we get to today's birthdays, we got a big one coming up on Sunday.
Okay.
Former Texas Tech basketball player Jamias Ramsey will turn 23 on Sunday.
23. Man, he needed one more year in the oven. I really think if he spent one more season in college, he would have been one that would have had some success at the NBA, more success at the NBA level.
Maybe so. Yeah, I could believe that.
Back to today, Liam Neeson is 72. Allen Iverson, the original AI, is 49. Tom Jones, 84. Christian McCaffrey, 28. Bear Grylls, 50. And Mick Foley is 59. And on this day, 1776, Richard Henery Lee of Virginia introduces a resolution for independence to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. John Adams seconds the motion. Lee's resolution declared that these united colonies are and have a right to be free and independent states. They are absolved of all of their allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. That measure should be immediately taken for procuring of assistance of foreign powers, and the Confederation be formed to bind the colonies more closely together.
There you go.
That is the beginning of the discussion of the Declaration of Independence. And that is this day in sports history.
On your list, what was the one you said before the Steve Carlton, Nolan Ryan one?
Tommy John wins his 200th win, 3-0 win in a two-hitter.
I forget. I forget. Maybe
That Tommy John was a pitcher?
no.
Oh.
What it was. I'm like, I wanted to say something about that, but no. Tommy John. I wonder how many people out there
Think he's the doctor?
don't even know he pitched. Yeah, I mean,
He's a crafty lefty.
how many people that get Tommy John surgery don't know the origin of it?
There's probably
probably
a
lot.
decent amount.
There's
yeah.
a ton of kids out there that get it now. I say kids, but anywhere from 15 to 20-year-olds. Yeah,
Yeah.
tons of them. I bet there's a bunch that didn't know he was a pitcher. Oh yeah. Now it's time for a word.
Now, to them, it's just TJ.
It's TJ.
It's TJ. It's the thing you have to do.
Poppy surgery. Hopefully not. Hey, if you didn't know, we got a contest going on. Not for too much longer. As a matter of fact, this is only going on through next week. Through part of next week. So if you want to get in on the cash like Keith did yesterday, Keith won $500 yesterday morning. Thanks to our friends at the Home Zone, making your house a home, for teaming up with us. We're giving away a lot of cash, including $2,500 coming up on June 20th at 2 Docks. You'll want to join us then. But until then, you can keep getting entered by typing in these words at doublet973.com. Your word for this Friday, June the 7th, is Tigers. 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 Got a favorite tiger? Tony?
Allison and Emily.
I was wondering if you would go with that. That's probably a good
They
answer.
tie.
They tie?
They tie.
They tiger?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can pick one. There's a pretty good chance neither are listening right now.
There's
Go
a
ahead.
great chance that neither are listening.
Okay, then just go ahead and pick your favorite right here.
Isn't your lovely bride a tiger too?
No, she's a White House Wildcat with Patrick
Well,
Mahomes.
No, where she's currently at.
teaches.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite tiger is Neil Woodman. Okay, I'm hopping on that bandwagon early.
He's a little overrated. So yeah, you don't want
Just keep his parents out of his head.
Well,
I need to start getting autographs now. So when he's
From
in,
me?
No, not from you.
Okay.
So when
That's
I
gonna
need some
take-
pictures taken now.
That's actually going to be part of our NIL deal. So you're going to have to pay a bunch of money for.
I used to dunk on young Patrick Mahomes in
Okay.
Nerf basketball. So if he lets me do that to him, he's destined for an NFL career
Okay,
of superstardom.
I will let him know, and he'll let you dunk on him probably. But first we got to get those, him to start signing stuff and putting, stuff that's grotesque in his signing, so he can be a real.
It's really disappointing
real
that
athlete.
I'm not famous because I think I have a really good autograph. I really think I have a good autograph.
It's really disappointing that I'm not famous.
I mean, it would be really cool.
That was great.
It would be really good. Signing baseballs or footballs or something.
You do have a decent one. It's the morning drive. Back for more of this next on Double T 97.3.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Appreciate you joining us on this Friday morning. You're listening to Morning Drive on Double T 97.3 and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, Fox 34 News Now. With you till 9 o'clock this morning. I'm Chois in for Chuck. Jamie Lentz in his normal spot to my right. We'll continue to get some of your thoughts on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We're talking a little baseball. My, curiosity with the portal is, has anybody picked up, has Tech picked up Jaden Agassi yet?
Oh, wow. Who do you play for, USC?
USC, yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the
And
portal.
he's in the portal?
He's in the portal, yeah.
Okay, well...
He claims his average fastball is 95.4 miles an hour.
Okay, so he seems like a really good candidate.
150 plus innings of Power 5 starting experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It's not a bad father to have around.
No,
you know?
if we can get Dad to town,
Mom.
I can.
That's Steffi Graf with Agassi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm not as into the tennis world. I'm making sure on that.
Yes.
Didn't we discuss this,
Yeah.
the two of them yesterday?
Huh?
When Steffi Graf won something in the... I think she won the French Open.
Yeah, and I called her Mrs. Agassi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so, yeah.
But if he needs a hitting partner, when he comes to town, I'm here for him.
You and Tim Siegel are still pretty good buddies. And then why don't you get Tim on recruiting
Agassi to
Agassi
come to
kid?
town. I'm sure Coach Siegel would love to have
All right,
him.
let's get him to town.
Yeah.
Because having Dad and Mom in the stands would be a lot of fun too for the baseball games.
I hit against Andre Agassi once before, and
you
was
whipped him.
fearful that I was going to drop the racket. I couldn't hold it. I was scared.
You were shaking that much?
Yes.
I believe it. That's totally believable.
That was my hero as a kid, man.
Oh,
So I was pretty starstruck.
I mean, how could you not root for that mullet? It's top 5 mullet all time.
Top 5 wig of all time.
Well, still.
when we got down to it.
Have you read the book?
Oh yeah, it's a great book.
I need to read that. I
Yeah,
have
it's
not.
a great book.
Who had their better mullet? Agassi or Billy Ray Cyrus?
I didn't really call Agassi's a mullet.
I feel like that was definitely a mullet.
It probably was.
You just don't want to admit it.
That's probably exactly.
That is absolutely a mullet.
I typed in Agassi M and it popped up mullet. So
Like-
yes,
Like that thing is the definition
Yes,
of
you're
mullet.
right,
And
you're
looking
right.
at that, yes,
Yeah.
Agassi has the better mullet.
yeah,
Sorry, that's fantastic.
and better forehand.
All right, so Jamie,
Now
Tim, y'all
he
get
actually
to-
probably doesn't want to come to town to play tennis. He wants to come to town to play pickleball. He's like an expert
right.
pickleball guy.
and you will play with him if he asks you.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes.
We found what will get Jamie into the pickleball. All right, first we get his kid to campus,
Uh-huh.
then in the off time, Jamie
Man, I
and
have somebody to play with on the
Andre.
road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, come on, I need a little better competition than this to slap the fuzz.
All right, speaking competition, I got a third name to add to our mullet conversation. Mike Gundy. Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, his is
Andre
good.
Agassi.
Whether you like him or not, he had a good mullet.
Oh,
Gundy.
all three did.
Yeah.
Who had the best?
I think
Still Agassi, after just
Gundy's
looking
was
at this.
more in control professional.
So very much business in the front.
Yeah, I think he wasn't all in as much. And so if I was going to have a mullet, I would have to have a Mike Gundy mullet.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't want it to be so loud like Agassi's was.
Never been more proud than I have right now. I got Jamie to talk about if I was going to have a mullet.
Yes, disappointing.
All right. Check that one on the box. Been working on that for 10 years. Right on, Jamie, the baseball emoji. I think your expectations should also be competing for the Big 12 title every year, top 3. I said that, but maybe it went by. That, like, national seed or regional host and compete for a Big 12 title every year. That's where my expectations have been and will be. But I also agree with Jamie. If you don't have more investment in the program, then there's no way you can keep up. Maybe you can have single years where you boost. Because, I mean, you see UC Irvine, you see Santa Barbara, you see smaller schools pop up and have good years. And those are actually pretty consistent programs. You have other Power Fives that have good single seasons. But if you want to be consistent, like I'm talking about, that's where you have to have the consistent investment into the program. Without coaching changes in baseball, be that assistants and whole staff, Tech will not improve. DPI. I don't know what DPI stands for.
Yeah, I disagree with that comment.
Yeah.
It's not about coaches, it's about Jimmys and Joes.
And
And you can't get the Jimmys and Joes unless you're committing to the program. Obviously, they have to be able to recruit too, but you've got facilities and NIL stuff and all that matter.
You pointed this out to me during the break, but I mean, if you have some better pitching health, we're not even having these conversations.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's an Omaha year, but you're in the postseason comfortably, and you're probably finishing in the top 4 or 5 in the Big 12 and all that good stuff. If you don't have the just rash of injuries that you had. But unfortunately, it feels like over the last 3 or 4 years, you've had a lot of that. You've had some really bad luck.
Yep. This question, which Big 12 team has the best chance to make the College Baseball World Series in 2024? West Virginia or K-State?
I would say both of them would be major upsets.
So West Virginia plays North Carolina?
Correct.
In Chapel Hill. And
K-State at Virginia. So I'm going to go with K-State. I'm going to say K-State has a better chance.
I don't think they're both upsets. There's no question.
Yeah.
I don't think, but if I'm looking at those and other 1 seeds elsewhere, I think both of those are semi-favorable compared to some other 1 seeds. Like they're not as daunting.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I would much rather have.
I just think the home field advantage is huge in the supers.
Absolutely,
more times than not.
There's no question.
So,
I would much rather have one of those 2 teams over an A&M or a Kentucky or Tennessee. So
yep.
Yeah. So I think either has a chance. I'd probably predict one gets through because it's college baseball. We see it fairly often where there's upsets and teams lower seeds that get to Omaha. Is there either one that you're rooting for?
I am not rooting for either one of them to make it.
Okay.
No.
I wouldn't mind seeing K-State, but I don't. Oh. I don't really.
Their coach is kind of whiny.
Okay. Not Bruce Weber whiny, right?
No, I don't think so.
I'm not going to try to chuck it and mimic that. This from a little earlier. Don't know if it's been discussed already, but Chris Beard hired Mark Adams as his assistant at Ole Miss. Teased it earlier, but I haven't seen anything official on it. I've seen
on what?
Beard hiring Mark Adams.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen anything official, but I've seen the rumors, and I had heard about this potentially happening 2 months ago. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. Man, how crazy the world is if that is fully true. Mark Adams back in Oxford under Chris Beard. Whew. The times. All right, keep your thoughts and comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get to the bowl game schedule, fill you in on Big 12's bowls after Jamie's question of the day. Coming up next on Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll talk some Texas Tech football, looking at some projections for the 2024 season. 15 minutes away, we have the boom, boom, boom. Right now, Jamie's question.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
I've got a Texas Tech football question for you.
Woo!
I'm taking 2 answers off the board.
Boo.
Baron Morton and Taj Brooks. I want you to tell me who the 3 most important players are for the Red Raiders in 2024.
You didn't take off the offensive line as one player, right?
I think that's a really good answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to do that as one player?
Yep.
Okay. You on the offensive line. Did you see the Pro Football Focus grade? It was 3 or 4 days ago. Where
don't think I did.
Of players returning in college football, not returning to their school, but of interior offensive linemen in the Big 12. Texas Tech has 2 of the top 10 graded offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen, and the second highest graded one from last season. So
that's good news.
So Again, it's got to translate. But that's number one. If we're eliminating those two, the number one goes to your offensive line. Number two, I think it's important to generate a pass rush. Your defense was fine last year, but you never had that one guy that makes the entire defense better, like you had the previous year with Tyree Wilson. I'm not saying you have to have a Tyree Wilson, but I'm going to go Isaac Smith because that's who I personally think will be the best pass rusher on your team this year.
Okay.
And last year was not healthy. He had a good start to the season, then got hurt for the season. I think Isaac Smith is going to be your best pass rusher, and therefore very important to your overall makeup of your defense to make everybody else better, especially other guys going after the quarterback. This is my most Chuck Heinz answer ever, but number 3 is Gino Garcia.
Okay.
What have we seen in the first 2 years under Joey McGuire? It's that you play a lot of close games, and you've relied on the kicker a lot.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good answer.
You have absolutely leaned on kickers to be good for you. And it hurt you in the Wyoming game last year, because Gino missed 3 field goals in that game. One of them a weird into the half thing. Things weren't set, but you missed 3 field goals in that game. He was
really solid after that.
And after that, I mean, he helped you win games.
Sure.
And the previous year, Jonathan Garibay helped you win games, obviously. So I think kicker, with the way Texas Tech has played the last 2 years, a lot of really close games, it's vital that you've got someone that you can rely on.
So to paraphrase the Joker from the original Batman movie, well, not the original, but the Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Oh.
Who do you trust? We trust Taj Brooks, obviously. But what makes Taj Brooks better would be if Cameron Valdez was able to be the second head of a 2-headed monster. And if he can alleviate some of the load that Taj has to carry, that makes the load that Taj does carry better because he'll be more rested and it won't. I'm not saying that he got worn out last year. I don't think that he slowed down because of the amount of carries he had, but having to carry the ball every time doesn't bode well eventually throughout the course of a season. Getting him some breaks and having Cameron come in and be that second head of the monster would be huge. The other thing that happens when your running game is going well is your receivers need to step up because they're going to get some opportunities, and that would be Dre McCray. If he can go out and be that receiver we thought he was going to be last year, that this offense could be scary good. And that would be fun to see for a while. And to go along with all of that, what can't you do if you don't have an offensive line blocking for these guys? So I'm going to go Dre McCray, Cameron Valdez, and your offensive line.
Okay, so offensive line, I think is the right answer. I'll go there, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 on my list, I think I'm going Ben Roberts. I just think he has the potential to be the leader of your defense, and I think you need that guy, right?
Okay.
To be. I mean, I had a hard time with him or Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez maybe has the potential to be just as good. Obviously, he was injured last year.
That's why I didn't answer either, is because you have 2 of them.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I feel pretty confident. But, I mean, I think they are 2 of your most important players on the team because they're 2 of your biggest leaders. So I agree with you.
And I'm struggling for my third. I have 2 different guys that I want to go to. It's CJ Baskerville or Josh Kelly. I think I'm going with Josh Kelly. Okay. I think he's going to be your leading receiver. And so I think I'm going to lean in that direction.
Yeah, I think if I'm going receiver, I was leaning towards Coy Aiken. because I think he's your
chain mover.
Yeah, he's your chain mover, but he's also the guy that takes some of that pressure off of both Aiken or off of Kelly and Micah Hudson this year. Mm-hmm. I think he's one that if he's that third threat, then you can't double team the other two guys very much. You can't. You got to leave someone open. So
probably if the question of the day was which area do you think Tech will be the most improved over last season?
It's receiver.
You probably would go receiver, right?
I would say receiver or pass
game.
catching. Yeah. Pass catching, because I think where you sit with the tight ends, I got my first real look up close at Giancarlo Miller last weekend, and that dude's a big old dude. I mean, big doesn't always mean anything, but he is a thick dude, and they are very high on him. Jalen Conyers, obviously his game has spoken for itself, and that's in addition to Mason Tharp. So I think the tight end room is fantastic in addition to a really good receiving core. So I completely agree. I think that's where I feel like you should improve the most from last year to this year. Y'all can answer that question. Pose your own on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Get to the boom, boom, boom. Coming up next on Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thrilled to be part of your Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3 and Double T973.com. I'm Chois Woodman in for Chuck this morning. Don't you worry, you Chuckathons. Chuckathons. That's his fan base.
Chuckathonians.
He will be back on,
Chuckites?
Chuckites.
I feel like ites is like where you live or being part of a community.
Heinzites.
I guess it could work still. You
Heinz Nation.
You catch up people.
Chuck Nation.
All right, that'll work.
Chuck ups.
He found it. The Chuck ups. That's the one.
Not the upchucks.
No, the Chuck ups. I like it. Oh goodness. My point was he'll be back Monday. Don't you worry.
Yes.
He's Jamie to my right. Jeff across the way. Jeff has helped us put together a little fun project for the summertime. Who wore it better? I'm going through all sorts of Red Raider sports. This isn't sports specific, but all across Red Raider sports, and basically asking you who wore certain numbers better. We went through number 55 to start things off earlier this week, and we're doing this. You can go vote on it on our Double T97.3 Twitter page. You can also tell us what you think on our Yates Flooring Center chat line as well. But you can officially vote on our Twitter page at Double T97.3. And for the vote for number 55 earlier this week, E.J. Holub took it.
Okay.
Not too much surprise on that one. Kind of expected that to be the case. But Holub, number one. Alicia Robertson was 2 over her husband, Andy Ellis.
You think she's bragging to him about it?
I hope so. 69% for Holub. Alicia got 21%, and Andy got 10%. So
here's the thing. If
probably
I was
Andy went online and voted for Alicia.
Andy would probably vote for Alicia 15 times. He used all his burners. So at least I hope that would be the case.
That is just so crazy. What are the odds?
That they wore the same number?
Yes.
They didn't. Did they date in college?
I have no idea.
I can't remember if they dated in college or if it was. I think it was at the very end. I don't think they were like dating the whole way through. I think. I could be way off on that. I was not, part of Texas Tech Sports Network, or what is it? Oh, TMZ, Texas Tech
TMZ,
Sports.
Texas Tech.
That's what
yeah.
I wasn't part of that, so maybe they were dating the whole time. But the odds that they wore the same number is pretty. Especially her. She was a guard wearing 55.
55, yeah, looked odd.
I mean, him, 55, that's kind of okay.
Sure, yeah.
So today's number, and this will go into next week, you can vote on it through the weekend, number 27. Now, I have one that I think of from the get-go on this one, but there are two big-time names in Texas Tech history that you can vote on here at 27. You got them both?
'27. Wes Welker
There's one.
and Larry Hayes.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. So, two legends, Texas Tech legends there. I cast my vote towards Wes Welker just because he was one that really helped me fall in love with Tech football. It was at that impressionable age. Larry's time was a little before mine when he was really. I mean, they crossed over, obviously, but yeah, Wes Welker is one that, as far as moments in Texas Tech football lore for me, just that are imprinted on the brain, the kickoff return against A&M, or sorry, the punt return against A&M is just, it's there. It's just top 5 for me.
That's my favorite Wes Welker moment, no doubt.
That one was so good. And then, I mean, he had so many punt returns that season, and in his career, that, yeah, Welker was it. So, yeah, I can go vote on that. Who wore it better? They're at Double T 97.3.
I was told that Coach Hayes was actually going to retire this year, but he's still listed at Colorado Christian as their head softball coach.
Oh, yeah? Maybe
I just think it's awesome that he's still coaching.
Yeah. Because there was a time of poor health at one point, right?
Yeah, I think there was some of that at some point.
So
yeah.
it didn't look great, and then he got back into coaching, and things went well, and that's awesome. So,
and he was the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Coach of the Year the last 2 seasons, so still
got it?
Still doing an awesome job.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Good for Larry. Hopefully he continues to have that success. He's living his good life in the coolness of the summertime.
Man, there's mountains everywhere. Man,
it's going to be nice.
I don't care where you are on that campus, you see mountains everywhere. There's a beautiful lake in the middle of it. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You just go cast a line anytime?
I'm not really a fisherman. I don't know if there's any fish in there or not.
Well, I'm just worried whenever Tim Tadlock decides to retire, is he going to go up there and take Larry's job?
They have a baseball team too.
So, I mean, he can go toss a line in the lake. That might be the selling point for Tim Tadlock.
Yeah.
All right. You got me. All right. Wes Welker needs to be the next one on the Tech Stadium Wall of Fame. We don't have Harrell up there yet, right?
Correct.
Last year was Crabtree and Nelmer Tarbox? Or was that 2 years ago?
Felt like last year, but I don't know.
Was it last year? I'm trying to remember.
Hang on.
I know. I'm like...
was that 2 years ago?
Things are running together. No, it was 2 years ago because Crabtree was the Garibay game.
Right.
That was in that same game.
Oh, was it? I didn't remember that.
I don't know.
Was Pat last year?
Pat was 2 years ago.
Pat was 2 years ago at Kansas State.
Then I guess you're right.
Right? We didn't put anybody up last year.
Okay. I think... Zach Thomas?
He's been up there for a while.
Okay.
He went up there the year after he was into the College Hall of Fame.
If only we had the internet to tell us who's in and when they got in. Ring of Honor inductees. So Pat was 2 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, that was a Baylor game. Baylor debacle.
Unfortunately, we do remember that. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Pat was the last one that went in. So Crabtree was 21, and I do believe that was the Garibay game. I'm going off of memory on that one, but I'm pretty sure that was the Garibay game that he was in the building for. Thomas was 2016. So Pat was your last one. So long way around. I do agree Wes Welker's name needs to be up there. I think so. But I would probably put Graham Harrell up before him, even though Harrell was after. I feel like Harrell and Crabtree should have gone together.
I would have enjoyed that, but yeah, I think I would put Welker just because of the time.
Time? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a
First,
problem
ahead of
with
Harrell.
that at all. And I don't know if they're going to. I haven't heard anything if they're going to induct anybody this year. But yeah, all those. I think Patrick Mahomes not being a college football Hall of Famer, I think he was the first of that list to not be a college football Hall of Famer. So that, I guess, opens the door for Wes Welker and others that haven't been.
It's all right. Wes needs to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer here.
He
pretty
does
quick.
need to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. You'll never get any disagreement there from me.
Defined a position in football. Everybody was looking for the Wes Welker type.
All right, keep your comments coming in. We'll look at some Sabre metrics on what Texas Tech is supposed to do, according to the computers, in 2024 in the football season. We'll get into that coming up next. It's the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.